Hi, teacher.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tower of Babel podcast. My name is Rocky.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are the directors here at Tower of Babel, which is an English institute in Cochabamba, Bolivia. Today is a beautiful day outside. It's very nice. It's calm. It's been raining. It's a little bit cold, honestly, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So if this is your guys' first time here, this podcast is a podcast that we use for our own English institute so that our students have an ability to be able to hear native people speak to each other in a little bit more of a casual sense where we're talking faster, we're talking not so much in like our teacher voices.
Right, we're using like little slang here and there.
Yeah, just so that we can be able to, I guess, show them what native English speakers speak like, so they can start to train their ears and stuff like that. And you'll need to speak up because you're not talking loud.
For sure.
All right. So the topic for today, because it's such nice weather, is our cultural connection and cultural disconnection will be all about weather in between Bolivia and the United States. So the U.S. is very, very large.
Yeah.
For example, the country of Bolivia is only about 2 times the size of Texas.
Roughly.
Which is the second biggest state.
No,
Third
second.
biggest?
Second, you're right.
It's the second biggest state in the United States. But it only takes up 12%.
Yeah, not much. I mean, there are 50 states if you think about it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot.
Yeah, I would say it takes up
12 is so much.
maybe 8.
If we discount Alaska.
No, even with Alaska.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but in the U.S., where do you think, how many different climate zones do you think there are?
There are a lot. The way, like, I've seen maps of it, which would be helpful to look at one. But the way I kind of think about it is you have like New England, which is like our northeast area. And so that's really like, to my knowledge, it's coastal, but it's on the Atlantic. So it's not like warm unless it's summer.
No, it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold, it's windy. And like they still have winters because it's still up north. So winters are still cold. You have summer, which is obviously going to be a little bit warmer, but it's pretty rainy and windy up there to my knowledge. Because I think of like crab fishermen, right? And like lobster, like that's rainy.
Well, let's try to like give it into zones. In my mind, there's like 4 or 5 zones.
I think there might be a couple.
But just like in general, obviously each area is going to be very
right.
differently depending on elevation, depending on vegetation, all those stuff. But I feel like in general, we can kind of pair them into, you have East Coast.
The whole East Coast?
The whole East Coast.
Okay.
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
East Coast, West Coast, Northern, Southern.
Right. And obviously there are overlaps, but yeah.
Yeah, and so in those areas that are overlapping, we just kind of discount that because those are a mixture of those 2 things. So when we think of like East Coast, we're thinking about windy,
rainy weather,
rainy, not exactly. It's definitely not like freezing cold, but it's temperate.
Right.
It's very temperate. The ocean is not like, yay, let's have fun. No one, when everyone thinks of like going to the ocean or going to the beach, no one's like,
I want to go to like Boston.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And then you have West Coast. West Coast is where, okay, it's a little bit warmer. The elevation is obviously the same, East and West Coast, but the climate around it is a little bit warmer. The summers are hotter. The winters are not as cold. It's not super windy.
I think of it really regionally, though. Like, when you say West Coast, I also think of like Pacific Northwest. And also on the West Coast, we have like
Northwest.
Right.
Anyway.
I guess that's fair.
Yes.
Okay.
And then north, obviously, the northern states is during your summers, they don't get as hot, but it's still, the sun is what's really important there. And obviously, once you get into higher elevations, then the sun is a lot stronger and stuff like that. But the winters are what is terrible.
Yeah.
Right? That's
just
what
brutal.
It is. And then you get to the southern states, and the winter is a reprieve.
Winter is nothing there.
No,
winter
doesn't
exist.
Is awesome. It's like 50 degrees outside. It's like this right now. And then the summers are just...
Summer is uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Right? You might get humidity. I mean, you lived in Texas, and we visited my parents in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Crazy kind of weather.
And then you have the central...
The Midwest.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess
Midwest is what we call
yeah.
it. It's from like Chicago and over in the middle.
And that gets like just so much of the 4 seasons of you get. The summers are hot summers. The springs are like rainy, really green, almost humid springs.
Right.
And then your falls is all of your trees are falling.
It's windy. It's a little cooler.
Yeah. And then your winter is that there's heavy snow.
Yeah. So that's like a really good mix of all of them, like you said.
So you lived up in Montana for the majority of your life. What is the weather like there specifically?
So in Montana, the weather is, you also live there, so you know it's super dry. Montana, there's really no humidity at all. More than here, but there's not much humidity compared to other US states. And so it's really dry. In summer, it was pretty intense in Montana. It got up to like 106 degrees Fahrenheit sometimes. Celsius, I'm not sure because I don't know Celsius.
I don't know. I'll put the conversion.
Yeah, but it would get super hot in the summer, and it was just dry. So there would be a bunch of fires and things like that. That's like a core memory of mine, is like, can't have soccer practice, there's too much smoke in the air. So there would be wildfires and things because it was so hot and so dry. And then in fall it didn't last super long. In Montana, our 2 main seasons were summer, winter. And fall and spring were kind of a very brief transition into those. Fall would last maybe a month, and all the leaves would fall. And it was colder, it was windier and crisper. We'd sometimes get some rain, but fall was usually cut short by winter. Sometimes like it would snow before all the trees lost their leaves.
Yeah, and that was usually like the last like push of like, okay, that's what's knocking all of the leaves off of those trees.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they all started to turn colors, and then it snowed. And so there were like all these leaves on the floor.
Yeah.
And winter was brutal. It would get to like negative. Our last winter that we lived there, it got to negative 20 Fahrenheit at night. That was brutal.
Just gnarly.
Yeah, just absolutely horrible. We didn't even live up in the mountains either. That was just in the city. And then winter lasts a long time until like maybe, it snowed in May before. I think a good estimate for winter is like March, like mid-March, the end of it. You have like reprieves of that where it stops snowing for like 3 weeks and you're like, this is incredible, right? And then it snows again usually. And then spring comes around, and spring is beautiful, but it lasts maximum like 2 or 3 weeks, you know? You have like trees that are blooming, you see a bunch of flowers, and everything's really pretty, and then it gets hot again in like June, and then it's just summer again. Yeah.
All right, so enough of that.
Yeah.
Let's just get into, what do you think the biggest differences are or similarities are between American climates and then Bolivian climates? Because obviously in Bolivia you have your very high elevation, colder La Paz. You have your mid area, a little bit more temperate, has a little bit more of the heavier swings between hot and cold, which would be Cochabamba, right? Would be your Tarija, right? And then you have Santa Cruz, which is your super low elevation, very close to sea level, hot, humid jungle. What do you think is the closest to all of those and the furthest from all of those?
Okay, so the easiest one for me is Santa Cruz. Because thinking about Santa Cruz, we always say it's similar to like Miami. I've never been to Miami, but when we visited my parents in Tennessee, that humidity of like you can't even breathe in because it's just water is kind of what Santa Cruz feels like when it's hot in the summer.
Well, that's so interesting about like of humidity is... we're going to get into a little bit of climate control here.
Okay.
So,
is this alpha omega lore? Okay.
A little bit of it. So, humidity is amplified by heat.
Right.
Which, the reason why is everything has water in it, even if it's just a little bit, right? So, if you have like a piece of wood, because that's like really the only thing like I can really relate it to is if you have a piece of wood, that wood has percentage of water inside of it. Usually it's very low. A safe level for any wood is like 3 to 8%, right? You don't want anything below that, otherwise that wood is going to become very brittle because the water almost acts as glue.
Yeah.
Right? So when it's cold, all that water, all those water molecules don't want to move as much, and so they end up just staying in the wood. It doesn't evaporate, right? We don't have the evaporation water cycle happening because it's cold.
Right.
But then you introduce heat, and now all of the water that is inside of materials starts to go out into other things.
Starts to evaporate.
Yes, because there's heat and water always want to find a balance with each
Okay.
other. If it's really hot, then that water is going to be like, oh my gosh, it's really hot, we need to get out of here, and find a cooler place to then make warmer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like it's trying to make sure that everything equals out.
Okay.
Anyway, so you were talking about how in Louisiana, like it's
Tennessee.
I think
Or
you said
in Miami.
You said in Santa Cruz, especially when it's hot, it's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
That is because
Just
there's
feels like
more
drinking water.
There's more humidity in there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because, like, at least I'm not built for humidity. You know that. When we were in Tennessee or when we're in Santa Cruz and it's hot, like, I can't breathe. There is water just in my mouth as I'm trying to breathe, and it's not a good time. For me personally, unless you're, like, swimming. So that would be the closest I could compare.
Okay.
'Cause they're both, like, very humid. Florida, you have, like, the Everglades, so it's a little more tropical. It's obviously not, like, jungle.
It's.
I mean, you don't have a rainforest, but you have, like...
It's a rainforest.
In Florida?
Well, do you know what happened in the Everglades?
I don't think so.
So back when there weren't a lot of people, like back when Europeans were discovering the United States for the first time, and they were kind of like going around and stuff. The Everglades were seen as something that was uninhabitable.
Right, 'cause it's, like,
because
swampy.
it was all swamp. Obviously, there's a bunch of predators like alligators and stuff like that. But because the trees were so thick, there's stories about like these trees being so thick that you couldn't even like get a horse through there on like the solid
Oh.
ground because there's so many trees.
Interesting.
But then once the Industrial Revolution started to hit around and then they started to occupy that area, they started to chop down the Everglades specifically. They almost I think they wiped out like 3 different species of trees from the United States.
Just by lumber.
Just by lumber.
Just logging.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so now the Everglades that we think of, where it's like the sparse trees
Yeah.
and lots of that, is because of what we did less than 100 years ago.
So it was a forest.
It was.
You're absolutely- oh
It was
my
a
gosh.
massive rainforest.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, pretty close in climate. Thinking about Cochabamba, like we said, where we have like kind of chilly, kind of warm, but nothing super extreme. What would we compare that to? What would you say? Because everywhere I can think of in the U.S. has pretty big extremes.
I don't know. I feel like you can look at something like Minnesota. No, that's a little bit too
Minnesota's super cold.
much. Just in the winters, though.
I think about like southern Illinois,
That's a good example.
you know?
Yeah.
Like southern Illinois, because like,
Something that.
so it gets cold and it might snow. Here we don't have snow in Cochabamba, at least. Here in the city, obviously. It might snow and it gets kind of cold, but you're not going to get like kill you temperatures, right? But then in the summer, it gets warm, but it's not like uncomfortably like dying of heat stroke warm. You feel it's kind of in the middle. At least my understanding of it.
Yeah.
So that would be what I say for that. For La Paz, I don't know. We don't have anything that close to that elevation. The closest I can think of are like the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, like Colorado.
Yeah, like
those.
northern Colorado.
What's the highest city in Colorado? Boulder?
I don't know.
I think it's Boulder, where it's sitting at like, I think it's like, I almost want to say it's 8,000 feet elevation.
It's not that high.
Yeah.
I don't think
Hold
it
on.
is.
Let me look it up real quick.
You look it up.
You talk.
But no, I would think northern Colorado because it's higher than other places. Like people say that Denver's pretty high, right? But they call Denver mile high, so it's only like 5,000 feet in elevation. But I would say there because it gets super cold, and to my knowledge, it doesn't really get super warm. Search it in feet,
5,430 feet.
which is roughly a mile.
Yeah.
So it's not 8,000, but that's roughly what Denver is too, right? They call it the Mile High City. So it's not nearly as high as La Paz or El Alto, but it's higher compared to other U.S. places.
Yeah.
Or we might get places in like northern Idaho or like up in the north part of Washington or northern Montana. All of that stuff.
Isn't it-
Minnesota makes me think like the higher up you go in is that latitude? Longitude? I don't know which is which, but
Lat.
this is lat because it's like a ladder. You're right.
Yeah.
In latitude, the higher up you go in that, it gets colder because we get closer to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relative to the equator.
Right, relative to the equator. But that's what I think of as probably closer to La Paz because it's just colder.
Yeah.
You know, you have more mountains up in that area.
But because La Paz is above the tree line. It's a lot harder for trees to grow, and so versus pretty much everything in the United States is below the tree line. I wonder what do you, if you had to guess, what do you think the highest elevation point in the United States is, and then the highest elevation point in Bolivia?
In the United States, I want to say it's either Mount McKinley or Mount Rainier.
At what elevation?
I don't know, but it's one of those
Yes.
two mountains. I think it's in Alaska. At what elevation? I think it's maybe... it's pretty high. I want to say it's maybe 10,000 feet.
Well, just
Tell me.
I just want you to guess.
I think 10,000 feet. That's what I'm going to say is the highest.
And then what do you think the highest point in Bolivia is?
In Bolivia is...
Yeah.
Well, we think about like Illimani is like... I don't know if it's Illimani or a different mountain.
Okay.
I'm going to guess Illimani. I should have known Denali.
Are we going to count Alaska?
Formerly Mount McKinley. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Didn't I say that? That's so cool.
But are we going to count Alaska?
I guess it's part of it, but we always think of like continental U.S.
Yeah. So,
But consider it.
so that everybody knows, the highest point in all of the United States of America is in Alaska, which is, it's separate. It's honestly closer to Canada.
Right.
It's connected to Canada. Is 20,310 feet
Wow.
in elevation, which is very high.
Very high.
But then inside of the continental United States, the highest point is about 15,000 feet, which is located in California, which is the U.S. Mount Whitney.
Mount Whitney. Interesting.
That's so interesting that it's
Highest
in
in
California.
Washington is Mount Rainier. I was pretty good with those mountain guesses. In Bolivia, I think... This might sound stupid, but I think Illimani is the tallest. Am I wrong?
No.
I'm not wrong?
No, you're wrong.
Oh, I am wrong. What is it? 21,663? Is that what that says?
So, the highest mountain in Bolivia is the Nevado
Sajama?
Sajama? I think it's Sajama, which is at 21,463 feet above sea level, or 6,542 meters. And then the second one is Illimani.
Oh,
right?
okay.
But it's weird to think that, like, the United States, even though it is so vast, in my mind, I think of it as very flat. And I think that's because the really only places that I've lived have been, like, prairie or desert.
Right, because even in Montana where we lived, like we weren't living in the mountains.
No,
there
there
were
are
mountains,
yeah.
but where we lived was super flat.
Yeah, I feel like the majority of Montana is actually flat.
It's only 1/3 mountain, which is, they taught us that in middle school because they were like, Montana is montaña, so it's mountain, but it's only 1/3 mountains. They're all in the western side of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Montana, what does the state flag of Montana say?
Oro y plata.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Freaking gold and silver.
Gold and silver in Spanish. Uh-huh.
I wonder why it's in Spanish.
I don't actually know, but I remember they were telling us about like why that's on there. When we were in middle school learning about it. It has to do, it's similar to like the Black Hills, like, you know, Black Hills gold. It's like really coveted, really valuable or whatever. Similar, they just found a bunch of gold and silver in Montana rivers and mountains and stuff like that. Like we have a bunch of mines in Montana.
Oh yeah.
You know, but they're all like platinum and
Palladium.
There's a silver mine. Things like that.
There's Silver Mountain.
Yeah.
They named the whole mountain Silver.
Yeah. But yeah, so talk about the weather in Bolivia. I talked about it in a little bit in the U.S.
Well, you already kind of compared it. I think that there really is nothing similar to La Paz.
And it's really incomparable.
Yeah, you can't really find anything like it. The closest thing would be your higher elevation, really northern cities inside of states.
Yeah.
That kind of get close to there, but it doesn't snow all that often in La Paz either.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's also hard to compare. It's the highest or one of the highest cities in the world. So, I mean, you really can't have like a comparison for it.
And then Cochabamba, once again, you get into the situation of elevation, right? Pretty much anything in the United States at an elevation of 8,500 feet is getting destroyed with snow.
Yeah, and they're all mountains. Like,
Yep.
we don't have any cities that are really up at that
Yep.
level.
Yep.
And Cochabamba is also super specific because it's high elevation, but then it's surrounded by a bowl of mountains.
Yeah.
Super interesting. Yeah.
And then the closest thing that we have that is comparable is like the Florida Everglades compared to Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But
It's also not super comparable. I mean, it's almost like they're in different hemispheres or something.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to ask you about, I know we've talked about this. So it's super nice and rainy and kind of gloomy here today. Massive thunderstorm last night.
Yeah.
Talk about the thunderstorms you've seen here versus in the U.S.
So, for context, obviously, I've only lived in Texas and Montana, and so I can't say that they're the best in all of the United States.
Right. I mean, it wasn't
but,
Seattle.
Yeah. Well, they don't have any good.
They have drizzle. They just have rain all the time.
Yeah. No, but the thunderstorms here are crazy.
Yeah.
Just I think because we're so high in elevation, and I don't know, so high in elevation, and then when it does rain, it pours. There's not really ever a drizzle here. It just pours out of nowhere, and then you have like the residual left over. Anyway, but the biggest thunderstorm that I ever heard. Wasn't that interesting that we call it thunderstorm?
Thunderstorm. Yeah, interesting.
Because it's not a lightning storm. It's
only a lightning storm if it's like specifically there's a ton of lightning all happening.
But thunder is more like
thunder is when it's just like rain, lightning, and thunder.
Yeah, we say thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm.
Anyway, the biggest thunderstorm that I ever like saw or was a part of was when I was living up in Tiquipaya, and out there, every once in a while, it would just get crazy. We had lightning struck in our backyard.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it shook all of our windows, and you could watch them flex about like 4 centimeters.
That's
just
crazy.
Boom, 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 boom. I always thought they were gonna break, but it would shake all the doors to the house, and you could like kind of feel it in your feet, and it would constantly wake you up. Because like even last night it woke us up because we were sleeping, and then I think a flash of light actually woke me up, and then I opened my eyes, and then it boom.
Yeah, the lightning was super bright.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
But they're just in Montana. There was a couple of lightning storms, thunderstorms, and it was very like, oh, there's lightning. Right? It's lightninging versus
lightninging.
Like whoa.
Right.
It's lightning.
Yeah. Well, and also like, I feel like very rarely in Montana did we ever have like a big rainstorm where like streets flood, like all that stuff happens. Obviously at Alpha Omega we saw like basements flooding sometimes from like rainstorms. And that was normally a summer occurrence when that happened, right? Like, I feel like it wasn't always that way, but from maybe when I was like 14 or 15 and up.
It's because the majority of the water in Montana does not come from rain. It comes from ice melt. So then when is the ice melting the most?
Summer.
In the summer, so when it floods the rivers, and then therefore floods everything else.
So yeah, that's interesting. A lot of our floods actually don't come from rain. Yeah. But yeah, I remember like there were some summers where we had lots of rain, but it was nothing compared to what we have here. Cochabamba is just so unique because I think it also has to do with cold fronts and hot fronts combining because of like the bowl that it's all in.
Possibly.
Because then it's like, whoosh, it's a big crash of that temperature. And so then a bunch of stuff happens. Learning segment time?
Lauren's learning segment. I'm going to go grab the box.
Okay, great. So I wanted to start off finishing some of our money sayings that we started on last week, just because I think they're interesting. And I said we'd finish those out. So last week we talked about something costs an arm and a leg. We said something is a dime a dozen. It's a silver spoon. We also have this one, which is pretty common, I think. I remember hearing it in movies and songs and things when I was growing up. And I think it's also pretty self-explanatory. So if I say, Rocky, money doesn't grow on trees, what do you think that means? Can you think of a wrong one for it?
That money is, you cannot create more of it.
I mean, it's pretty close.
I know. That's
yeah,
false,
I mean, it's pretty.
No, that's false. You can create more money. Every government does it.
But like individually.
More.
So they're saying money doesn't grow on trees is something we normally hear when someone's like, can I have some money? It's like, what, you think this stuff grows on trees? Like, it's not free. Yes. Which is funny, that money is not free, right? You have to work for it. It's not ubiquitous. You can't just have it whenever you want it. Yeah. So can you think of an example? Like, do you know any movies or things that you've heard with that, or a sentence?
The first one that comes to mind is there's this song. It's called "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked." Is that
Ain't No Rest for the
title?
Ain't no. Anyway. That's what I had stuck in my head. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah. Anyway, and so there's this dude. He's just recounting essentially his day. He had one really bad day.
Tough day.
And somebody stops him on the street, points a gun at him.
It's a stick 'em up.
Yeah, it's a stick 'em up.
That's what it's called. It's a stick 'em up.
No,
Okay, continue.
that's crazy. It's a stick 'em up.
A stick 'em up is the act of robbing someone.
No, it's a stick up.
Oh, it's a stick up.
It's a stick 'em up. No.
Continue.
Anyway, and so he's being robbed, and he's like, "Sure, I'll give you all my money, but you have to let me know, why are you doing this?" And then the chorus goes, "There is no rest for the wicked.
There is no rest.
Money doesn't grow on trees. So you need money. It's hard to get. It's not easy. Therefore, you have to do whatever you have to do, like rob somebody."
Yeah. They say it grammatically incorrect. They say, "Ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees."
Yeah.
Which is wrong.
Why
but
would I do that?
No, I know. It's a good song. Okay, this other one we have is like $1,000,000. So if I say, "Hey, Rocky, you look like $1,000,000. What do you think that means?
I look very rich.
Okay, that could be, I think, what some people understand it as. Our majority understanding is like something looks good, right? $1,000,000, $1,000,000 looks pretty good, right?
It's not that you actually look rich. It's that you look very good, as if you had $1 million.
Exactly, right? Like
If I had $1 million, I wouldn't spend it on clothes. I'd wear the same thing I wear now.
You can also say someone feels like $1,000,000.
Yeah.
Right? If you feel like $1,000,000, you feel good, right? $1,000,000 is a good thing. Okay, this next one we have is money talks.
I actually don't know what this one means.
It's kind of,
You'll have to explain this one.
so you don't know what it means, so guess.
I don't know.
Just guess.
Like money doesn't lie. You can always follow it. It always leaves a trail.
Kind of. It's more like in business decisions or in things like that. Like you can have the best argument or the best like proposition, but in the end, money talks. So like however much money you can pay is what decides what happens. Right? Does that make sense?
So money is the end all be all.
Yes.
It's the final say.
It's a deciding factor.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
people will use this to be like, that sounds great, but money talks. It's a way to show doubt to somebody and being like, listen, I'm with you, but money talks.
Exactly.
Like at the end of the day, we have to go to where the money is.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, like you as a person can talk all you want, but your money also talks, right?
I don't understand that.
Oh, okay.
Well, explain it.
Your money, so like if I'm trying to convince you to buy something from me, but it might be expensive, you say like, well, money talks, right? I guess that's a bad example.
You keep on just saying right at the end of it, like I'm supposed to know.
That's a big thing I do in class. If I want to become a partner in your company,
okay,
let's say, and I go, I can offer you this and this and this and this and all of these great things, my money will also have something to say about that. As in, my money will also decide. But if I don't have enough money, it will say this is a bad idea.
But who would be saying money talks in that situation?
You would.
To show you what?
To show you, like you said, that you doubt that. That like, this is great, but the money talks.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sorry, that wasn't super clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple more. This one is a check you can't cash.
Where are you pulling these out of? I have never heard of this.
You've never heard this before?
No. Well,
So,
I didn't really grow up around white people.
Sure.
And I feel like
these are kind of white people sayings.
Yeah.
So the full expression is you're writing a check you can't cash.
Oh, so it's like put your money where your mouth is. Oh, that's a good one.
Put your money where your mouth is. That's way better than this.
Yeah.
Let me write that down.
No, we'll do that one after.
Okay.
But check you can't cash. So it's like you're talking a lot, but you ain't got no follow through.
Exactly.
You have a lot of bark, no bite.
You're just using different metaphors to explain it.
You explain metaphors.
Yeah, with different metaphors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So writing a check you can't cash is you're saying like, oh, I can do this and this and this and this, but you can't follow through on it.
Yeah, I feel like a bunch of people do that, like especially when they're dating.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh yeah, I'll buy you new stilettos if that's still nice. I'll buy you a new watch, earrings, all this stuff, and then it's like, if the dude or lady doesn't believe you, they're gonna be like, that's a check you can't cash.
Yeah.
A lot of talk, not a lot of follow through.
Exactly. Or if I say like, hey Rocky, I'm busy, but sure, I can help you move this and do this and this and this and this. It's a lot of promises, but not a lot of execution.
Yeah.
Yeah. That other one you said is really great. Money where your mouth is.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Put your money where your mouth is. So it's kind of a funny expression if you think about it, because you think about like putting money here.
Yeah, you could take it really literal.
Yeah. So how would you explain it?
Like actually?
Yeah.
Oh, well, putting your money where your mouth is backing up financially your claims that you are making verbally. So if I make claims such as, oh, hey mom, hey dad, I'm gonna buy you guys a brand new car. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. Put a down payment on the car, right? Go to the bank. Go ahead and, put your deposit in. That's putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Right? This can be used a lot of times for things that it's mainly promises, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people say something like, oh, yeah, let's start a new business, let's open up a clothes shop, right? It's like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. Go buy some clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody isn't putting enough money where your mouth is, that's not putting your money where your mouth is.
No.
Right? If I put like 10 B's towards some clothes, that's not putting my money where my mouth is. It means put your money refers to all of your money.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you got, put it where your mouth is.
It just has to match the promises you're making.
Yeah.
Right?
If I'm like, I'll buy you a soda, then yeah, I'll buy you a soda, and that's putting my money where my mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm gonna buy you a car, okay, go out there and drop, $50,000 on a car.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, you can help me out with this. Are there any instances where we use that metaphorically that's not actually about money?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is can also be used as like figurative money.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about time, where it's like, oh, of course, I'll come over and help you study. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. Okay, when?
Right?
Right? It's a way to be like, okay, show me that you're invested in this in some sense.
Yeah.
So if they're like, put your money where your mouth is, talking about studying, you can be like, oh, okay, fine, Tuesday. Let's do it Tuesday. That's putting your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. I liked that you said it's an investment, literally, in time, in effort, in anything, because we also talk about money as an investment.
Yep.
Okay, that was a good one. That was really all I had for money ones. Do we have time to work in some weather ones? What time is it?
Give us a couple.
Okay.
2 or 3.
I'll just do some of my faves. This first one is something is flooded with.
To be flooded with.
To be flooded with. So, flood is like an extreme type of weather. If I said to you, I'm just flooded with emails, what does that mean?
There's a lot of them.
Yes.
In order for a flood to happen, you need a lot of individual drops of water.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't take one, it takes millions and billions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you're flooded with something, you have millions and billions of things to do.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Similarly, we can also say like I'm drowning in something, which refers to that as like a flood,
yeah,
right?
You can't drown in a drop of water.
Mm-mm. So like I'm drowning in work, maybe. And it's like, oh, I have so much, or I'm flooded with work.
You know what? Something my mom always used to say that used to make me mad.
What?
She always used to be like, well, you can drown in an inch of water.
You can.
And it's like, roll over. Roll over.
What if you're stuck, Rocky?
You couldn't drown. How tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
5'6", so you're 160 some centimeters.
I don't know centimeters.
Right?
Something like that.
You can't drown. Let's say you're 169 centimeters. You cannot drown in 168 centimeters of water. You can't.
If I'm upside down, I can.
Get out from upside down.
But the saying is like that if you're stuck in one spot,
I know, it bugs me.
I don't know why. Think about like
move.
you are in the bathroom and you're like fixing, I don't know, something, and then something falls on you and it paralyzes you and you're stuck in the bathtub. You're dead. 1 inch of water.
You died from paralyzation.
No, you died from drowning.
Because you were paralyzed.
Yeah, but you drowned. That's the cause of death. You don't know.
No,
Okay.
I disagree.
This is another one that is, again, pretty self-explanatory. Thundering as an adjective. So, I could say, like, he had a thundering voice.
Loud.
Yes, loud. Literally like thunder. We use it as an adjective. Like, his voice was thundering. Or we could say the drums were thundering.
Could
right?
also be commanding.
Yeah, normally it has the context of commanding and kind of angry.
Angry, commanding, and loud.
Yeah, like if I say someone's footsteps thundered, you can also use it as a verb. Someone's footsteps thundered down the hall. It sounds like they're stomping, like they're mad.
Yeah. And I think the important part of that, so like an easy way to remember is when there's thunder, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a conversation, you stop to listen to it. So if somebody is saying something with a thundering voice or a thundering anything, then you're like, you stop and you listen because it's intense.
Calls your attention. It's booming, right? It's massive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep on looking at the thing. Every time I talk, it's tiny. Every time you talk, it's loud.
I think it's because we moved it towards me because I'm a little bit quieter than you are.
It'll probably be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, another one I have is rain down. This makes me think of the Katy Perry song. That's Rain on Me, sorry. So like we could say like insults rained down on him, right? And it's again pretty self-explanatory. It's just the metaphor. Think of like drops of rain.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's insults rain down on you, they're falling on you, right?
But how many?
A lot.
Exactly.
And it normally has the context of something bad. Like we talk about boxing or like fighting, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If someone gets the other person on the ground, their like punches rain down on in MMA, whatever.
There you go.
Their punches rain down on them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which means it's just 1, it's strong, 2, it's negative, 3, it's endless.
Yeah.
Right? If they're raining down on you, you can't escape from it. Why are you laughing?
I don't know, it's just funny. All right.
Okay, that's all.
All right. We're going to end today's episode off with a little student submission. This is something that one of our students has sent to us. Go ahead and pick one out.
Let's see. This is, please explain do or does. When do we use it? And what are the most common errors?
You do this.
Okay, so do and does is one of these simple present things that still affects us and the way we use our grammar further into advanced levels, right? So does is just the he, she, it form of do. And that comes into account when, for example, I could say, what do you do for fun? Or what do you listen to in terms of music, right? That do can be the auxiliary or a normal verb as like an action, right? I do pottery, for example. Or what do you listen to, right? So do has 2 uses. Does is when we have that he, she, it form, right? So if I'm talking about your sister, what does she listen to? Or what does she like to eat, maybe? And I could also ask, does she like pottery? Right? Do and does can be tricky because we don't have an auxiliary verb like that in Spanish in the simple present. It just doesn't exist. I would say some of the most common errors we have are people want to say, he do this, right? Or she do that. And so we forget that do and does. And another thing is omitting the auxiliary do and does when we have simple present sentences, right? For example, I might say, what you eat today, right? Or what you do for fun. And that's not correct in English because we need that auxiliary do and does. So I would say that's some of the most common errors. A good way to practice is just narrate or write things down in our different forms, right? Like the way I learned Spanish, we have our I form, you, and then our he, she, it in the simple present is always going to be different, right? We're always going to have either an S, an ES, an IES, something like that in that simple present.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing is it all depends on your pronoun,
Yeah.
right? I.
You.
No, I
Do, sorry.
No. I.
Do.
You.
Do.
He.
Does.
She.
Does.
It.
Does.
They.
Do.
We.
Do. That's
Am I
all.
missing any?
No, that's all. You could say you guys. Like
Do.
ustedes do. Right?
But that's because it says you.
Yeah, but it's plural.
But it's not just plural because they do.
They do.
Yeah, so
Right,
they
you
is
guys
a
do.
plural word. But don't put that into their minds of plural and singular.
That's true, that's
'Cause
true.
it never works out that
No,
way.
because I is singular and you is singular,
But they
but
is
they is,
plural.
but it's do,
Yep.
right? So the really only thing with the simple present is he, she, it is always different.
Yep.
It's go becomes goes.
Yep.
Same thing. And that auxiliary do and does is really important in that simple present because it builds our foundation for later.
Yep.
So whenever we ask those questions, if it's a yes or no question, sometimes in Spanish or when we translate directly from Spanish, I want to say like, you like pizza, which is in English an affirmative sentence.
Yep.
You like pizza. We would have to use that auxiliary do. Do you like pizza?
Yeah.
Right? Or if I'm talking about he, she, it, does he like pizza?
I tell my students that with yes or no questions that start with do or does, that if you were to translate it over to Spanish is the upside down question mark at the beginning.
Genius.
Because that's what it is in Spanish. They call that an auxiliar.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an auxiliary.
I never learned the name for that in Spanish. That's perfect. So yeah, if you're ever struggling with that do and does, that do and does in our questions is just going to be that upside down question mark, that auxiliar. And we always need it in simple present statements also. It just is the way we do it grammatically, but it'll come a lot more naturally once you work out the structure and practice it a lot more.
All right. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time here, feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions. And regular students, the box is over by reception if you guys want to put in your own personal questions. We will see you guys next week.
Stay
Immerse
immersed.
yourself.
Immerse yourself.
Come on.